The desert wind howled across the forgotten town of San Orillo, a place swallowed by silence and memory. Locals said the town didn't die. It vanished. Buildings intact. Personal belongings untouched. But every resident gone without a trace. Years later, a rugged figure stepped out of a dust-coated truck, boots crunching over abandoned pavement. Danny Trejo wasn't there for legends. He was there for the truth. He pushed open the creaking doors of the old diner. Plates still set on tables. Coffee cups frozen mid-morning. A jukebox stood silent, as if still waiting for a coin that would never come. The deeper he searched, the stranger it became. Footprints ending mid-street. Clocks all stopped at exactly 2:17 a.m., and a message scratched onto a mirror. We didn't leave. We were taken. Night fell. The temperature dropped unnaturally cold. The air vibrated as if the town itself breathed. Then came the faint sound of voices, not screams but whispers. Thousands of whispers. Every wall hummed. Every shadow leaned closer. Danny felt it. Whatever happened here never truly left. He followed the sound to the town's church. Candles lit themselves as he entered. The whispers sharpened into words. Don't look up. So naturally he did. Above him, not a ceiling. A swirling void. As if the sky had been ripped open and frozen in place. Faces drifted inside it. Fearful, pleading, trapped between worlds. And then a flash. A thunderous wind. The candles blew out. Silence returned. When the sun rose, Danny stood alone. The void was gone. The church was normal. No proof. No evidence. Only the lingering echo of those trapped voices. He left San Orillo with one truth. Some mysteries don't want to be solved. Some secrets bury themselves deeper when you dig. And some places never really let go. Absolutely. Here is the full, expanded story in a complete narrative format, cinematic and immersive, like a full episode of Mystery Unearthed with Danny Trejo, but told as a gripping story. Mystery Unearthed with Danny Trejo, The Vanishing of San Orillo. They say the desert keeps secrets better than any grave. Long after the wind has erased footprints and the sun has baked memories into dust, some stories remain buried. Not forgotten, but waiting. San Orillo was once a quiet desert town. A diner, a gas station, a handful of brick homes, a church with a bell that rang every Sunday morning. Then one night, everything stopped. People didn't evacuate. They didn't flee. They just disappeared. Years passed, and San Orillo became a ghost town no one talked about. Until one day, a battered black truck rolled down the cracked highway and stopped at its entrance. Stepping out was a weathered man with iron in his presence and scars that looked like they each had their own history. Danny Trejo. He wasn't there for myths. He was there because unanswered questions bother him. And San Orillo was the biggest unanswered question in the desert. He walked slowly through town. Wind whistled through silent streets. Storefronts stared back with hollow windows. A bicycle lay abandoned in the middle of the road, chain rusted. A newspaper fluttered across the pavement, the date frozen years ago. He pushed open the diner door. The bell above it chimed. Inside, life still waited like it had paused mid-breath. Plates of food sat on tables, forks still resting in mashed potatoes. A cup rested beneath a coffee machine, halfway filled like someone intended to come back. The jukebox lights flickered weakly, though there was no power. Danny scanned the room. No bodies, no blood, no signs of struggle, just absence. And then something stranger. Every clock, wristwatches in the lost and found box, wall clocks, the jukebox timer, all stuck at the exact same moment. 2:17 a.m. He stepped into the street, boots echoing in the empty silence. Footprints suddenly appeared, then stopped mid-trail, as if the people simply ceased to exist. He followed them to a barbershop mirror scratched with desperate letters. We didn't leave. We were taken. The sun began to bleed into the horizon, swallowed by night. The moment it disappeared, the air shifted. The desert heat drained instantly, replaced by ice-cold breath. The ground hummed. Not a vibration, a heartbeat. Whispers began, soft at first, then layered. Men, women, children, all speaking at once. Not screaming, but pleading. Danny followed the sound through the shadows to the town's church. Unlike the rest of town, it wasn't dusty. It wasn't falling apart. It looked preserved, untouched. As he stepped inside, candles along the aisles lit one by one like soldiers waking on command. His shadow stretched forward, long and distorted. Then the whispers became words, overlapping, begging, warning. Don't look up. He stood still. The air thickened. The entire church seemed to tilt and breathe. The candles shook violently. His instincts said, turn around. Leave now. Instead, Danny looked up. There was no ceiling. Above him hung a frozen storm. A vortex in the sky swirling but unmoving, trapped in time. A tear in reality itself. Inside were faces. Not just distorted. Not imagined. Real faces. Hundreds. Eyes wide with terror. Mouths open. Silent screams, eternally suspended. He could see teachers. Parents. Children. Couples. Old men gripping hats that weren't there anymore. People frozen in the last moment they existed in this world. One face drifted inches from him. A woman. Her eyes locked onto his. She mouthed words he couldn't hear. Then suddenly he could. Not with his ears, but inside his mind. Help us. The ground shook violently. The candles exploded into darkness. Wind roared inside the church, though no doors were open. The whispering turned into a storm of voices. Don't stay. Don't dig. Don't remember. Something was angry that he found this place. Something very old. Something that did not like being seen. Then, silence. He didn't remember leaving the church. He didn't remember walking back. He didn't remember starting his truck. He just found himself miles away, desert stretching in his rearview mirror, San Orillo shrinking behind him as if the land itself pushed him out. When he stopped on the highway and looked back, where the town should have been, there was nothing. Just open desert. Sand. Wind. Heat haze. San Orillo was gone. Not ruined. Not collapsed. Gone. As if it had never existed. Later, Danny went to records. Maps. Government archives. Historical registries. San Orillo was erased. No documents. No census. No property records. No official acknowledgement the town had ever been there. Only one thing remained. A single page from an old travel guide. Weather-stained. Edges burned. Words nearly faded. It read, population, 312. A peaceful place. Quiet. Unremarkable. Perfect for disappearing. Danny closed the folder. Some mysteries don't hide because they're unsolved. Some mysteries hide because something wants them forgotten. But he remembered the voices. The faces in the frozen sky. The woman silently pleading. So he keeps the memory alive. Because somewhere out there, San Orillo still exists. Trapped. Waiting. Whispering. And every now and then, when the wind howls just right through the desert, you can hear them. Please subscribe and touch the bell for part 2 and other Unsolved Mysteries content. Thanks.